I'm 73, and I've been through a lot of stuff in the past.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that with us. Great to have you on. Let's continue with more calls. And
Okay, thank you.
thank you very much. Shannon is up next in Georgia. Hey, Shannon.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
We're doing well, thanks.
Paul, I called yesterday and I told you that I thought all the media coverage on this noose in the garage was an attempt to divide the people and cause more racial isolation than harmony. And by gosh, if I don't just think that's what happened. It almost sickens me, Paul, to be quite honest. And you know, I read an article this morning that the SB viewership was down below 500,000 people for what's normally a pretty big turnout. I believe that professional sports are starting to push away their core audience, and stuff like this is what's doing it, Paul.
Well, I think you make a lot of sense.
Boost Mobile's new upgraded network.
That's right. Stronger signal, faster speeds, and more coverage.
So now you can get everything you want faster, like Pitbull's music.
No, the new upgraded network means you can download music faster than ever before. It doesn't mean that it will make Pitbull songs faster.
Oh, so this isn't the song.
Stronger signal, more coverage than lines for $25 per line per month and 4 free LG K51 phones. Access to upgraded network requires compatible device. New customers only. 4-line offer requires at least 1 port and activation from eligible carrier. Free phone limited to 1 per line while supplies last. Customers using more than 35 gigabytes of data during billing cycle may be deprioritized during times of congestion. Offers and coverage not available everywhere. Additional terms and restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com or retailer for full details.
For your Gulf Coast Sports Minute, I'm JP. Coach Shinnick and the Argos continue to make their place in history. The Gulf South Conference named its Football All-Decade team for the 2010s, which featured 3 Argonauts and head coach Pete Shinnick being named Coach of the Decade. Marvin Conley was named to the first team, while Tate Latio and John Williamson were voted onto the second team. Shinnick has been the architect of one of the most inspiring startup programs in the history of college athletics, taking UWF to the NCAA Division II playoffs twice in 4 years of the program. In our recruiting spotlight this week, Jaheim Simmons for the West Florida Jags. Check his film and you will see all you need to know about this young man. At a shade under 200 pounds, Simmons runs like he's a fullback. This young man can punish you between the tackles, outrun you to the edge, and run by you in coverage. He truly is the complete package. Oh, you're looking for consistency? How about averaging over 5 yards a carry and 106 yards a game last year for the Jags? After he burst onto the scene, he already has an offer to UAB and interest from schools in the ACC. And don't worry, there'll be more to come, you can bet on that. That's your Gulf Coast Sports Minute. I'm JP.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk.
Also discovered a crisis that needs our help. According to my calculations, 1 in 5 kids in America struggles with hunger. That's almost 17 million kids. Our mission is to help solve hunger by teaming up with the Feeding America Network to get food to kids facing hunger in communities across the country.
Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks, helping connect children and families who face hunger to billions of pounds of food, reaching shelters, schools, and community centers in every county in America, including yours. Help Flint and the Feeding America network of food banks get food to the people who need it in your community. Find your local Feeding America food bank at feedingamerica.org/hunger.
Together, we're Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Gathering at Pensacola Beach is a wonderful family experience. If you thought of having a family celebration or an amazing beach wedding, there's a very special home now available, Casa de Luna. Casa de Luna is spacious with room for large families. It has 9 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms. Casa de Luna is a large private home with a refreshing pool and water views. The pool can be heated for swimming in colder months. Casa de Luna is unique in that the main living area is directly on sand level. It's very convenient. Bedrooms are both on the sand level and upstairs. One bathroom is handicap friendly and another has a new jacuzzi. And there's a large gaming porch with pool table, foosball, hockey, ping pong, and Xbox One. Bicycles are provided. Bring your family to Casa de Luna on Pensacola Beach.
For information, call Casa de Luna owner Tim at 791-6400. That's 791-6400. 791-6400.
Motorcycle owners, put this number in your phone now, 850-712-7710. Angelo's Towing. Hopefully, nothing ever happens out there, but if it does, you'll need your bike towed. Angelo's Towing has the area's only state-of-the-art motorcycle towing cradle. They'll secure it upright, handling it with the care it deserves. You got a lot of money in that bike. Get out your phone, 850-712-7710. When you need a tow, call Angelo's.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Well, coming up on the Sports Drive, we'll get to, got some stuff to talk about today. Major League Baseball did something. It looks like the league's coming back. They could have done about 3 months ago. And the story of Bubba Wallace, we'll talk some more about this because we have some opinions.
Has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, and it's caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl. Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. Baldwin beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmitt Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM, simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. I'm Chad Brillante alongside JP from Talk Football with Coach K, as they had a chance to sit down earlier today with Mike Vrabel, a Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots. I think he coaches. JP coaches the team too. Believe it?
Not the Patriots.
See, I just set you up for, we've worked together for now, about 6 years, but doing the show for about a year. I just set you up on a silver platter to go, coach is that team that just beat the Pats. And you could have made me salty. So come on now.
I was just trying to be
I know you're trying
generous.
to be nice. You're a nice guy, but come on. When I throw the dig at that, you need to scoop double the dirt. Right now, you've got everything on me. I've got
dynasty's
nothing.
over.
6 rings, 9 Super Bowls, it doesn't matter. Every time I say that, you just go, who knocked you out this year? Tannehill better than Brady? You can say whatever you want right now. Like, you own it. Own it right now.
No, because I also don't want it to be a one-year thing. Because as a Titans fan, it's been some time since we've been relevant, and we're still not relevant yet because we haven't made it. But we're looking, because remember, we were still 9-7 coming into the play. We've been 9-7 before, and just flopped out. But we'll see. I'm optimistic, lightly optimistic, I guess. Very skeptical of what's to come for the Titans, especially since we didn't get. Now, if we'd have got Brady, that'd have been sweet. We beat you, and then we took Brady from you. That'd have been awesome, but didn't work out that way.
Okay, so there's a couple things we got to get to on today's show. We talked off the air. We didn't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, and sometimes good people will hold back. They'll be patient on things. The FBI said rope that had been in the Talladega garage since October, it wasn't a hate crime. It was the pull down for the garage right there for Bubba Wallace. Now, there's a couple parts to this that we need to get into. Very important parts. Really 3 important parts. One, I hope it makes people, whatever side you're on today, understand that the media can persuade anybody the way they want, especially something that's this big. Two, use your own brain and challenge yourself to wake up in the morning and do the details, because people like us in the media, you've been to Talladega, we've covered events. My wife grew up around right there in the pit crew, and you know in these places, not every short track, dirt track, with Tim Bryant, Southern Raceways out there, there's some great places in this town. I know you're at the Dragway this week in Emerald Coast. Great places, great people. But when you're talking NASCAR, you're talking about billions of dollars. And there's videotapes and things out there. It would be really hard for some guy that people are picturing with buck teeth and a mullet running in there with the flag on a pickup truck that's got 250,000 miles and tying this thing up and going, woo, get her done, boys, and then flying out there. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, somebody coming by and being like, oh, my gosh. This isn't the 1940s with technology today. So when I read this story, first thing that we said yesterday was, look, it sounds a little sketchy. However, this is the biggest part. This is the third step that is the most important part to all of this discussion. Because if you're saying, ha, my post was right from day one, boys, then you go out there and go back to normal. The biggest thing we can take from this, the biggest thing, is that the way it was handled, the actions that cause reactions. Bubba Wallace, his crew, and NASCAR handled it with the tip of the cap. Handled it perfectly. Bubba wore a United States right there, sitting there with the mask. You had every single racer that maybe didn't get along as kids, maybe grew up in some southern areas where they didn't believe in what Bubba was talking about. But you had a unified group together, peacefully demonstrating at the beginning of that race. They weren't starting, it immediately did not lead to people in the stands throwing things into the fence, burning down Talladega. Nothing like that. And that was incredible to see. So even though most people out there today, they had an inkling that it was the pull down and this was ridiculous. It shouldn't have taken 15 FBI investigators. It should have taken a video, one guy doing his job on the side and being like, I think we still have nut jobs out there. Let's be real. For anybody that doesn't believe, we've got people that want every day to bomb America. I'm only going to say that once just for FCC law, but there are people out there right now in Middle Eastern countries and others that want us all gone. And we have our military and people, God bless you, every single day. What happened at Pensacola NAS, everything that's happened, thank God we have incredible people fighting for our freedom every day. But in this case, what it shows is after watching what happened in George Floyd in Minnesota and watching vigilantes and other people, and then people throwing things through Target windows and taking flat screen TVs and burning down buildings that were historic buildings that had nothing to do with anything. People tore down the Ulysses S. Grant statue. This guy helped fight for the Union and changed the entire war and fought against slavery, and people are tearing down a statue because he looks like an old white dude. It gets to the point where it's starting to be awful on the news, and I've gone away from it. But this moment, Bubba Wallace and everybody behind it, they didn't use the platform to cause more chaos and panic. If anything, over the last 2 days, you're saying maybe there's hope for NASCAR. Everybody together, unified. And for that, I'm going to applaud what happened. Outside of that, the way it went down, yeah, you judge for your own. I'm not going to change your opinion. We said that a day and a half ago. And JP, you'll admit to that. I don't say these things on air because I also know I don't want to offend anybody, especially or be labeled a conspiracy theorist on things. But we talked about that yesterday. First thing I said, I was like, look, this doesn't add up. It doesn't add up at all. Like, how can you get into a garage at Talladega based on the security that's there? But the good news of it, the way it was handled, is pushing us towards unification. And for that, I don't regret it happened because we're showing some signs that we have peace in the future in a sport that we didn't think ever could?
I think a lot of thoughts on all the stuff that happened. I'll be honest with you. Would I have been surprised if this truly happened? No, I would not have. I understand. Look, there's a lot of people that feel a certain way. Now, somebody that would put a noose up there is a filthy, rotten person, and if you would have been one of those people, then I have nothing for you. I have nothing but just disgust for somebody who would do that to somebody, period, regardless, because of what it represents. Make that very clear. Now, with this, what happened to, we had talked about this, and like I said this yesterday, that the only way I felt like this could have actually happened is if it was an inside job.
Yeah.
If somebody inside, one of those team members, the one thing to remember in NASCAR is completely different than all these other sports, is these guys, unlike MLB, unlike NFL, unlike NBA, NHL, whatever you want to say, these guys travel together. They are together, just about 24/7 during the NASCAR season, and the majority of them live right there in Charlotte, somewhere around there, Concord or whatever it may be. They're all close-knit group. They all practice. They all go in their off-season, and we see a bunch of them come down here to Five Flags. They always hang out with each other. So this is they're competitors against each other. Obviously, when you strap in that vehicle, it's a different story. But these guys are a close-knit group. It doesn't surprise me what they did surrounding Bubba Wallace. And for people that want to beat their chest and say, "Ha, yeah, got him. All right, see, it's fine. You can do that." And look, it's good news. We should be celebrating that this was not a hate crime, because we're not taking a step back, whoever that was, that we thought it may have been. I know that there was an incident at the IP paper mill right here today, that there was a noose found. I don't know any more details other than they found one. We'll see. The one thing I will say is, depending on where it was, like I said, I have no idea, but I know that something that resembles that, we've used, because I've worked industrial jobs before, you use it to pull things up from a higher level, because you start traveling those stairs, because in a place like that, Ascend, the chemical plant there, not a whole lot of elevators going up. You have to walk it yourself, and those go 7, 8, even more if you go to Gulf Power, how high they go. So I'm not going to say anything about that, but what I'm saying is Sonoma said they found an apparent noose there. We'll see what happens, but I think it's important what you had mentioned is the media can sway you one way or the other. This is what I've been preaching the entire time to you people, is understand, think for yourself, please.
Whoa, he said you people. I'm just kidding.
I mean everybody.
But anytime you say anything, the media, I could just say local kid when you're not. You're in his 20s, which you have another couple.
I have 2 months.
2 months, okay. Yeah. But joking, kid in his 20s says you people on sports radio. Boom. Headline.
Yeah, I agree.
And you're one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And it just goes to show you how quickly kid in his 20s says you people on a sports radio market. And immediately, and I'm sorry, I'm done here. I'm not going to make you somebody's going to take with this. But
this is my point this entire time with everything going on, not just this instance, is people, please understand, if you just get your news from scouring the headlines, not doing your own education, not doing your own homework on this stuff, looking at Fox News or CNN or whatever you like, and that's what you get and that's what you take from it, then you're not doing anybody a favor, including yourself. You're making yourself look ignorant as well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there's not that those things don't report some truth. I'm going to say a lot of it is a lot of opinionated things. Look, we can talk opinions here on the Sports Drive because of sports. We're talking about we believe this or we believe that. It's different when it comes to the human life and things like that. But I will say this. I think this is awesome. I have no problem whatsoever with what NASCAR did yesterday. I thought regardless of the situation, it's great. If you don't like Bubba Wallace, why don't you like Bubba Wallace? That's my thing. Look, is he a great driver? No, he's not that great. He's a mediocre driver.
Finished 14th in this one. So.
I mean, I will say, well, that's his half the field. But I'm saying, he's a mediocre driver. But here's my thing. For people that want to say, well, Bubba Wallace standing up, he don't win races. He don't do. It doesn't matter whether you win races or you're the worst driver out there. It's about a human life out there and a guy that's an African American. And you know what? It would be great to see if the drivers are good enough. Let's get the best. I don't care what race a driver is. When I go out and watch racing, I don't care if it's we've seen 13-year-old kids at Five Flags go out there and win races and stuff. That's awesome. I don't care what age you are. I don't care what race you are. I don't care who you are. I just want the best out there because for me, it's the same thing as looking at the MLB. I want the best players out there. I want to watch the best against the best. In the NFL, the same thing. That's the glory of it all. So if we can get more African Americans and they want to be a part of NASCAR, let's do it. As long as if they're good enough to make it, same thing with all these other drivers. Let's get them in there because NASCAR has a select group of drivers that every time that they strap up and ready to go, you go, okay, they got a chance to win. There's a big majority that we always see finish in the back of the pack each and every time. It seems they're always the same type of drivers. Nothing against J.J. Yeley and Stephen Gaulding and all those guys, but they're not there yet, but they're able to race. So if we can replace those guys and get better drivers that are like the Denny Hamlins, that are like the Brad Keselowskis, that are like the Martin Truex Jr. I had to put him in there because he's my favorite, even though he didn't have a good day yesterday. Then let's do it. Who cares if it bothers you with race and NASCAR or whatever? Then get the heck out of the sport. Period. Yeah. Don't ever come back because nobody wants you back in the first place because you're going to do nothing but drag other people down. That's all I'm going to say. You know that I've always been about unity in this entire thing. I'm not going to go to one side or the other, but I want to hear everybody's stories, and I want to help no matter what I can do because it comes down to we live in the greatest freaking country in the entire world, and it blows my mind the way that we want to sit there and come after each other. Mm-hmm. People, grow up. That's all I'm going to say. If you don't like what the person next to you believes in, that don't mean you got to hate them. You can still be best friends with them. You can still be friends with them. You don't have to purely like them. But we need to all get along on this. And that's this whole NASCAR thing and the Confederate flag. Look, everybody's got their own opinions, whatever. To me, if you want to call it a small price to pay, that's fine. It's not really a price to pay to bring unity into a sport. That's all I'm going to say. I want unity. That's what I've been preaching the entire time, and that is it. I'm done off. I'm getting off my soapbox.
And honestly, I don't think Bubba Wallace knew. You can tell in somebody's eyes. I don't think he knew. I think that, honestly, I think it was somebody – I think this was a big misunderstanding by something that we sat back and went, okay, that doesn't sound right, but you see something. The pull down does look like a noose. Yeah. And some guy walked by and said, oh, my gosh, there's a noose in here, and then went by and told them, and Bubba's like, I don't want to see it or be part of it. He might never have saw it. He probably never saw it, and he probably was like, this is ridiculous. But here's what we need to take from this, because this is the most real conversation right now. I was happy when I saw over the last couple of days what has taken place and even today's news. Because as a kid, there are moments you get tested for everything. I had a hard time sitting in a chair for a whole entire class. Shocker, right? But when it comes down to the cookie, you get a cookie. If you can just be patient as the kid in the room, the cookies are in front of you, and then all the parents leave and it's a test. They said, if you wait for 5 minutes, we're going to give you whatever cookies you want, but there's one cookie on the table. Kid's like, they all left. We can get the cookie. Well, that kid's now going to become might be a politician one day. But no matter what it is, he's looking there and going, Then the other kid's saying, hey, if that kid steps up and says, you know what, don't touch that cookie, because if we don't touch this cookie for 5 minutes, we're going to get 20 cookies when they walk in the door. And whether that's true or not, it's believing in hope that you are. You haven't seen the cookies. They didn't bring it out and display it like Vanna White. You're just believing there's going to be 20 cookies. And it takes courage for that kid to say, stop. We're going to get 20 if you get this one. I can save some for school tomorrow. It's a big moment. Now, that's a test at a small, we've seen them on commercials and other things like that. But what happened here today, whether it was set up, whether it was an accident, whether or not it was purposely pulled down and somebody took a photo, regardless, the test worked in our favor as a country. And I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, and I hope, and God, I pray that we don't have a bunch of these popping up, because a lot of the tests have failed. The George Floyd test, it failed. And I'm saying this in a way that I'm not saying that George Floyd and what happened to him, because we all believe in the same thing. It was awful to watch that video. But right after it, as a human being, to watch black, white, Asian, does not matter, watch buildings burn down of local peaceful people that own ma and pa stores. Drive by places like the Coffee Cup or places like that. Imagine those owners. I've never met them. But you drive by and there's people waiting outside those places for hours on Cervantes on a Sunday. Imagine driving by there the next morning and just seeing it burn to the ground. And if you did know the owners, and start crying. That's what was happening left and right in Minnesota. These people had nothing to do with it, and all over the country. That project failed, whether you're for it or against it. It failed overall to a certain point. Did it fail to start a cause that what we saw with Bubba Wallace? No. Because what we saw this weekend with Bubba Wallace was the first hope of, after that happened, you did not see black or white people start to raid Talladega. You didn't see Talladega get burned because, remember, the match was postponed. They gave you an entire day to burn down the track if you wanted. Nothing like that happened. Instead, peacefully, a group of people that are working together to change America and get sports back, and everything came peacefully together. That have never peacefully come together. And I'll tell you, I've been around NASCAR tracks. It's not easy. A lot of those guys, you think Chase Elliott wants to stand with Kyle Busch right now? No. They all came over and they peacefully demonstrated something we've never seen. So if the test, which was not the right way out, handle it, or we said yesterday, this sounds a little fishy. If you're one of these people today that gets on Facebook and you go, ha ha, NASCAR is a joke, all these people are jokes, you have the right to feel that way. But you also, I hope and pray, see the end result of what happened. Because we have choices in the actions. Just like college football, we have the right now in college football to look at 23. Oh my gosh, college football's over. Uh-oh. And you see 23 cases in Clemson. But do your own research. Did 22 or 23 of them, are they asymptomatic? Can they go out and play? And all that's saying to me is keep them away, self-isolated if they test positive, away from adults that are 65 plus, 75 plus with pre-existing health conditions. Take the precautionary measures. But they didn't even know they were positive, like Novak Djokovic today. He's like, oh, whoops. He was out there ready to play tennis. He was hitting balls. Tennis court, and they're like, you're positive. Front story, Djokovic, one of the best players ever, positive. He was out getting ready to play in the tournament. So read the stories and do your own research. But I think in this case, it was an awful way. My wife hates analogies, but I'm going to end it before we go to break. It's like a story of some guy that fireworks going off coming up here in the 4th. Fireworks, it hits somebody's house, catches on fire. Awful. They feel terrible. Oh my God, this house is on fire. Are there kids in it? So the cops, fire department, everybody comes running in that house. Everybody's got to abandon the house. What they find is a basement full of people that have been trapped down in this basement for a month, 20, 30 people. And they rescue them. Did you shooting off fireworks? Was that a good thing? Catching someone's house on fire? No, if it was an 80-year-old grandparents, it could have been terrible. But the end result is maybe 30 people's lives got saved. And that's not a heartfelt story here, but it's the truth of a moment that didn't mean to be the right moment and went a little bit astray, but it ended up being something that we can take as a positive going forward. And I hope we see that in a very sadistic way. I just put it. We're coming back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
Ever wonder how long it takes for litter to decompose? How about a paper towel or newspaper? 2 to 6 weeks. A cigarette butt? 1 to 5 years. That plastic bag? 10 to 20. A disposable diaper or plastic beverage bottle? A whopping 450 years. And for a glass bottle? 1,000,000 years. Let's stop litter madness. Join the team and let's drive it home. Keep our paradise litter-free.
Brought to you by Florida Department of Transportation and Keep Santa Rosa Beautiful.
I'm Mina Kimes, host of ESPN Daily. Each morning, we bring you a deep dive into a single story from one of ESPN's hundreds of reporters. It's the best of ESPN Daily. ESPN Daily is presented by Marathon. Now, more than ever, we have to look out for each other and count on each other. Marathon wants you to know that you can count on them for high-quality, top-tier gas. Wherever you need to go, the people at Marathon are behind you all the way. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee is not okay. But now, you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. We're talking about less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying.
It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one.
You can try a full 30-day bottle of
P3 Advanced. Free.
Just cover shipping and handling, and a free bottle will be conveniently shipped to your door. No strings attached and no commitments to buy.
Call 1-800-491-4613.
Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no-strings-attached free bottle, you must call now.
Call 1-800-491-4613. Agents are standing by to take your call for this unprecedented free offer. Call 1-800-491-4613. 1-800-491-4613.
Look, chicken restaurants are nothing new. But if you're saying been there, done that, it tastes like chicken. Well, if your friends offer you a brand new convertible or a broken down station wagon with 3 wheels, do you say, hey, they're both cars? Well, the people have spoken. Mr. Pollo on 9th Avenue was voted top 100 places to eat in the country by Yelp at number 61. Making chicken great again, America. It's that good. Try it and you'll be hooked for life. The freshest ingredients and the perfect catering for any big party. Mr. Pollo. It means chicken.
Hey, seafood lovers, Shannon's Seafood Kitchen is open with dining inside and outside as well as touchless curbside pickup. The best catfish this side of the Mississippi, homemade gumbo, jumbo fried shrimp, hand-rolled Filipino-style lumpia, po' boys piled high with fresh seafood, coastal fried flounder, and fresh mullet every day. They continue to take precautions for your safety whether you dine in or take out. Open Tuesday through Saturday at 11, 7000 Pine Forest Road, or call 941-1982. Shannon's Seafood Kitchen.
The latest news and sports can be heard on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Get the latest news and football on Talk Football with Coach K. Daily sports talk on your drive home on The Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. And a recap and look ahead of the sports week on Sports Call with Davis and Justin every Saturday. Plus, national sports radio talk on Golic and Wingo, The Dan Lebertard Show with Stu Gotts, and The Paul Feinbaum Show. It all lives on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station, ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I just need you to get real loose. Get comfortable. Grab your loved ones, or grab your love partner. And if you're by yourself, no worries. Just follow after me. Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy.
You know what's funny is to relate any song today pretty much to COVID, because it all starts making, say, grab your love partner. You're probably, if you're with her by yourself, be like, yeah, where you should be right now. You know?
Or him.
Yeah, or him. Or you could. Bravo today for getting that. Thank you for doing that. SP's Sue Bird, Megan Rapinoe. We had, what are you shaking your head about? I'm transitioning into SP talk real quick.
I know. SP's, look, the cool thing, the snacks, the guy for Jackson State.
Oh, that was awesome, yeah.
He is an awesome dude. Anyway, I watched that video, but it's that to me. Am I wrong in saying it's more of a political thing?
Nope.
Okay, and that has. And I don't. Let me make this very clear. I don't mean by the whole Black Lives Matter movement or anything like that.
You don't have to explain yourself.
But ESPYs has always been that way, especially the past probably 8 to 10 years. It's been nothing really. There's zero sports on it.
You don't have to explain yourself. We're gonna cut off a lot of time. 850-623-13. You don't have to explain yourself. Okay. I will say I watched about 5 minutes and it looked exactly like I'd stopped on CNN and then gone through. Like we're there to watch sports. That's why their job is to talk sports. Let's go to the phone lines. 850-623-1330. Caller, who's this?
This is Jeff. Chad, I feel really bad for the baseball players. I know the owners are happy and lucky that they have a CBA right now and this and that, and looking forward to watching it. But I'm going to go on record right now. I think because of how much they alienated the people that were probably most sports fans are fans of multiple leagues. There might be a guy that's a baseball guy and a hockey guy, like my mom. She's going to watch the hockey and probably not watch much baseball at all. Now, I'm going to watch the baseball because I'm a diehard Rays and diehard Marlins and stuff, but I hope the owners realize that when they're going to be going up against, they could have started July 1, but they just did what they wanted to do, and, they like to collect your moon, and that's fine. But just remember this, owners, no fans, no players, no money. And that also means the media would not cover it anymore, maybe, and this and that. Maybe sound a little harsh with saying that and stuff. And I'll be honest, pretty cool NASCAR race stuff. Not really going to get much into the bubble wall stuff because I have a position probably not right, so I'm just going to keep it to myself because it's probably not right and stuff. But, it's a cool race, and, I'm glad that one of the drivers won back-to-back race and stuff. Nice job. Don't even know him and stuff. But, I'll just be glad when I get to watch the MLS in about 2 weeks and stuff. I know that they're protecting themselves against the players and, all the Warriors. This is, I think, one thing that people lose sight of is that the Warriors have a lot to do with whether or not a fan gets to come back and, and this might be sound crazy, but just thank guys. Have a good day.
Jeff, great call as always. I'm going to say this on behalf of Jeff's calls. JP, my co-host, what I have to say too, because I can talk and then go into different directions. We know that. Somehow got into burning down a building and with kids in it last segment. I had nothing to do with it. But someone joining like, who is this? What's happening? But no matter what, I think we need to understand is whoever calls this show or is part of it going forward, because I like Jeff, he's been calling for 7 years. Me doing shows here, I've been doing shows in the afternoon in this market for about 10 years now. And nobody has to call in and say, I know this is what people don't want to hear, or I feel bad saying this. No more. What we're going to do is we're going to say it, and I know that who the people you are. You can say, I think it's terrible what NASCAR did, but the end result is great. You can stand for what you believe without having to make both sides feel good. That's what I do it every day. I try to make people feel happy, and I know JP does too. And it's hard because, I got off the phone today and had lunch with, it doesn't matter what anybody, and even going down this path is trying to prove that point, so I'm not even going to say it. But it doesn't matter. My best friend growing up, doesn't matter what color. I could say that. My best friend was black. Does not matter anymore. People know who the people are, and by having to prove that, it means we've changed completely. So good people, just come on here and say, because the volumes that you speak from your heart are going to say more than that word that you say before. And people like Drew Brees that get a bad rep for the wrong reasons, I will defend on this show. That he said something that all if he would have just said, I understand why, but ... it would have changed everything. Would have changed every meme, everything. But I'm done defending people that I know in their heart mean the right thing. And that's where we need to be today. But it was a big step. Actions always speak louder than words. Always speak louder than words. And it was a huge step. It's a huge step for Major League Baseball. For Rob Manfred to actually have some cojones today and actually do what he could have done. He could have done this 2 months ago. This is complete hogwash for him to. He did exactly what they've been trying to do the entire time. You're at a car dealership. I want that car for $25. Well, sticker price says $32. And get it down to $30. I want it for $25. Well, it says $30. I mean, $32. We can maybe do $29.5. That's my final bargain. I want $25. All right, $29. We're done. My boss is going to fire me if we go down to $29. I want $25. All right, we're done here. Walk out of the room. Oh, wait. He was going to buy the car anyway. He signed on it. He was just going to, okay, $29 it is. Boom. And you're done anyway. Like, the thing was, Major League Baseball was promoting 60 games with the prorated schedule. And the guys that said, let us play. We're ready. Tell us when and where. They had their chance, and they failed. And now, Rob Manfred, which it's not officially done yet. They expect people to start coming out here July 1st and getting all ready to go. When I see the first pitchers and catchers reporting, I'm going to maybe sing one of those songs on, one of those.
Not until they get it for the first
through.
game, just because of all the cases and what's going to happen.
One of those commercials, like a gospel song. Like
we do need to realize in all this that after the 2021 season, there will probably most likely be a lockout. People need to go ahead and wrap their minds around this because the players are going to file a grievance. because the agreement was made. That agreement is not the original agreement. There's not the grievances can still be filed, of course, after this season. Whether they'll win that or not, regardless, the new CBA comes up after 2021, and multiple people have said, go ahead and just get ready. There's going to be the players are going to get exactly what they want this next time around, or there will be a lockout again. And with all this stuff, I will say I would not be surprised by a lockout after what just happened right here. But to the players, because I think everybody should be ashamed in baseball, Major League Baseball, Players Association, all this stuff with what's happened. But the one thing I will say is the players back in 2016, if you go back and look at that and look at what transpired to get them, why they're so ticked off right now, it's because they got raked across the coals last time for the last CBA for what they did deserve. Now, people can say, well, they're making a lot of money. Yes, but there's a lot of things that get involved. Don't let the shiny contracts of Bryce Harper fool you. That is not all of Major League Baseball. There's a small minute of players that get that kind of money, obviously, and, well, for him, he doesn't deserve it. But what I will say is basically Manfred called their bluff last time and put them in a situation where it was either, well, look, you guys want to play or not play. It's whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. And he knew, and he had talked to the owners, and the owners were like, yeah, let's do it. And the players felt pressured, and when the players basically agreed to this, they were like, the agents go, oh, crap, what did you guys do? What the heck happened here? It was like a disaster. So that's where all this stuff comes back from. So I will say this. Enjoy it while we have it, because there's going to be another big, nasty mess after 2021.
You know, I agree with what you're saying. I believe there will be a nasty mess. Nobody wants to clean that up. But what I also will say is what happened before it should not be looked at the same way. And I'm not saying it towards you, because I don't think you truly, you were reading that and saying what happened and then dictating it from there. But right now what's happening is completely opposite from anything that's ever happened in any sports history. Which I mean is I don't think that the owners, by saying we're going to have 60 games this year, or we're going to have prorated salaries, or you're going to have expanded playoffs, or you're not going to have to rebuttal back with this, that's not going to set a precedent to me for 2021. Or we don't know what 2021. Based on right now in society, all these Mayan calendars and everything, I don't want to know what 2021's like, because so far, if you're going 2020 forward, I don't want to live in this. Those people that are talking about Virgin Airlines flying up to the moon might need to make some money, because I want to be on that plane. But all I'll say is that right now, we need to understand that I don't think, and I don't know, but I don't believe that the owners, Rob Mansford, he needs to go anyway. But I don't think any of these people believe that by going with 60 games starting in July 1st, everything they're starting with now is going to be the course of what's happening going forward. If we go back to a regular schedule, if we go back to everything being normal, fans show up, they tailgate, they sit outside in big groups and watch movie screens, I think we'll go back to normal baseball. I don't think the owners are going to go, we got them right now. And now for the rest of baseball history, we know that we can undercut them. We can go back. I believe that they're going to be okay.
No, I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying the players will have the power after this. The players will be the reason we have a lockout, not the owners, because the players there's already tons of players that have talked about this that said, you know what, whatever. When they said, tell us when and tell us where, they basically meant, look, we're not signing any of this bullcrap agreement.
So those guys got to go then.
Because they
got to go. And those guys got to go. I mean, they're lying to us.
Okay, but Chad, understand the big name players, they run this thing.
They don't, and I'm glad they don't.
But they do, because are we going to just watch a bunch of minor league style players? Understand
Honestly, baseball is the sport that they do. The foreign players will
play.
You're
a fool if you think that after 2021 that these players are not going to absolutely hammer these owners for that new CBA agreement. Go back and look in 2016. Do the homework. Look at that. Look what happened.
They probably will.
They really did. And when I heard this, when I heard this from Jeff Passan and those guys, I was like, okay, yeah, they said, who said they got raked across the coals? And that was Passan that said it. He said, look, go back and look. And so I did a little homework on this. They did. They got put in the corner, and they basically backed down. They didn't have to, but they wanted to play. This is a whole new ballgame. I understand what you're saying with this year, but basically, so the players can still file a grievance when this is all said and done, and you can bet your butt they will. Now, they may not win it. Who knows? I'm not going to say that.
They didn't win this round. It went to a draw, and the owners, because Manfred's on the side of the owners, we know that, but they lost this round. Manfred had the power anyway, and he ended up saying, you're going to report July 1st or we're done here.
But the CBA agreement has nothing to do with this. That's what I'm trying to understand. No, but that's different. You can say you're going to play, but they have to get that CBA agreement in order to play. You have to have some type of contract for these guys to move forward. So you can say we're going to play, and it's like, yeah, Rob, I get it, but we don't play until this is done first. That's just how it is, because what are the players going to play? They have no contract, no anything. So the new CBA comes across, the collective bargaining agreement, in case people were wondering what the heck CBA is.
And it's been bad in baseball for a while. Arbitration numbers.
But that is going to change the entire – it's like, look, when the NFL, when that whole – why Dak wants a 4-year deal is because the new CBA comes up, and they're going to make a ton more money. So he doesn't want to play 1 year when he could be making a lot more money. If his contract is up after 4, that next year that he gets signed, there's a new CBA going, they're going to make a bunch of money, he'll make $40 million instead of making 34 or whatever it is. So what I'm saying here, though, is go ahead and mark my words. This will be archived, whatever. You can say what you want. 2021, after that season, when the new CBA comes up, it's going to be nasty, really nasty. And everybody is even coming out and saying, listen, don't be surprised if there's a lockout, because the owners right now, they're going to be shivering because they get what they want right this second. They do. They get baseball, whatever. I mean, nobody truly wins in any of this. But when it's all said and done after next year, all bets are off the table because the players have to agree to a CBA. And after what happened in 2016, they're going for blood this time. They're not just going to agree to anything. They've got it all set up because they were brutally embarrassed by what they agreed to last time.
I think that in this case, everybody lost in Major League Baseball. We understand that. Rob Manfred, I think collectively we can all agree on a bargaining agreement that he needs to go from Rob Manfred's standpoint. He's done a terrible job handling this. But more importantly than anything, I hope we can agree that this year is not going to be the norm set. You're right. There's a ton of things in baseball, and you and I are baseball guys, so we know all this. But arbitration numbers, there's guys like Ryan Howard who led the league in home runs and players out there making $490,000, the veterans minimum or the early rookie year contract minimums, because they're still under arbitration and still a certain time in their career until they get that big deal. And if something happened to them, they're screwed. We've seen that with Howard, Giancarlo Stanton, a bunch of guys. And then they get $32 million. But Christian Yelich was leading the league and being an MVP, making like $500,000, while there's other guys around them that are – look at a guy like this year. You look at the way Austin Riley played for the Braves. Austin Riley had a better season, about 75% through, had a better season than Bryce Harper. Austin Riley was making $582,000. Bryce Harper makes that in 7 at-bats. So sometimes it's not fair. And baseball isn't a fair category. But I do believe, though, that baseball, this is not a year to set a course. The other lockouts should not be compared to this, just based on that there was nothing like this. It was just people arguing to the point of trying to come to a conclusion. Putting 60 games or putting them at prorated salaries and everything happening is not something that either side wanted to do. They were willing to play Clayton Kershaw $35 million a year.
This is the icing on the cake.
It will, and it will change. I agree.
I agree. No, this isn't the end-all, be-all, but this is the icing on the cake for the players to go, you know what? You just showed us how you were. You showed us where you don't want to meet in the middle on this stuff. Apparently, I don't know what the conversations were, but they're basically like, okay, that's what you want to play. Good luck.
Let's go to a break. I want to get back in this conversation because we talked about that Bryce Harper's strikeouts were way more last year than what they're arguing per team. So in that case alone, for people making $20, $30 million, I don't want to make it where the owners, it's easy to attack the owners, but the players are at fault too. We need to
Players
understand.
have the power right now.
Well, we'll see. If they don't show up on July 1st, we'll see. Go to break. Either way, we don't make anything on this, so let's go to break. Sports
If you are a
Drive.
collector, investor, or just an avid sports fan, then listen up. Coins, sports cards, and racing collectibles in Gulf Breeze has one of the largest sports memorabilia collections in the area, with new inventory arriving weekly. If Hot Wheels is your thing, they have that too, with old, new, and special edition models to choose from. At Coins, sports cards, and racing collectibles, you can buy, sell, or trade. Located on Highway 98 in Gulf Breeze, Coins, sports cards, and racing collectibles is the place to go to collect either for fun or to invest for profits.
Ferocious flavor has landed at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. It's bold, it's different, it's refreshing, it's dragon fruit. We're using real dragon fruit to blend up our fearsomely flavorful new dragon fruit smoothie. Try one today, paired with a fan favorite Super Green Caesar chicken wrap or a Chipotle Chicken Club flatbread for a powerfully tasty combo. Slay your cravings at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Eat better, feel better.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
Walking outside your house just to get cool shouldn't be your choice to avoid the cost of AC repairs. Getting your AC repaired right the first time at a price that is so much lower than the others is the reason why you should call the locally owned Top Tier Air Conditioning and Heating. There is no service call fee with any AC repair, plus no extra charge for weekends or after hours calls. So don't sweat it. Call Top Tier. It's your home's most expensive appliance. Call the certified experts at Top Tier Air Conditioning and Heating. 208-2544.
You can watch Chad on the Sports Drive live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Sun is hot and that old clock is moving slow.
And welcome back, Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. You go all these days and all these weeks with really nothing, and then you get hit with the Bubba Wallace story this week and the case where 15 FBI investigation agents, it should have taken one, but 15 people investigated the videos and saw that it was just the pull down of the garage. And, you know, and like I said, it was more about the end result of it, that we unify NASCAR, the piece, not saying it's the right way. Manipulating people is not a good way to go about a tactic. But I was happy to see that it wasn't burning down Talladega. It wasn't a riot in the parking lot between Black Lives Matter and the people with the Confederate flags. It didn't become a war. It became peaceful for what we saw. I don't know if every tape is going to be that way in every neighborhood, but for what we saw, it unified a lot of NASCAR. And for that, I think that's good. Now, with Major League Baseball, they've got to figure a lot out. Major League Baseball owners unanimously voted. This is hilarious, actually. Every one of them voted Rob Manfred to implement what they already wanted, which was the 60-game season, spring training to start on July 1st, for that to last about, last week of the month. Then the two sides will talk about the safety protocol. But it's funny, though, JP, because they went back to what the owners wanted. But like I said, in all of this, in everything going on right now, there comes power. But you could use that power for good, or you can use that power for bad. And Rob Manfred, regardless of this, has completely failed. Because he is the owner. I mean, he is the owner pretty much of the other owners. And it sounds terrible at this time and what we're talking about, but he is the kind of guy that has the right to talk to the other owner. He wants to make the owners happy. Players, they'll play for him. Mike Trout's not going to find you can go to the KBO like Addison Russell. You'll get $500,000 and be like, huge contract right there. Or you can make $40 million the next year for the league you're playing in. There's not a backup plan for these people. But at the same time, Manfred had a chance to use that power and say, you know what, we're going to compromise on this. We'll do 65 games. We won't go with this. Guys, I had the power already, but I'm going to utilize this for the best. I've listened to both sides, and you're not coming around. And what are the owners going to do? They going to find a new league either? So he could have used that to been like, okay, we're all finally getting along, and he's completely failed. Greg Litton said it 100 times on the show, and he's part of an MLB group that talks to these owners, and they have meetings all the time playing in the majors. He has completely failed in every regard. And it's not a fail that sometimes Roger Goodell goes to court over. He's been more the silent type, not a bad-looking old dude that sits up there in the camera and can talk to people. 100%. But he had the power overall to make the right decisions, and he's failed us way too many times. And even though we're going to get to play, and as fans, we should be excited, hopefully, he's got to go. And he's not, but he should go from what we've seen.
We'll see. I'm still
He won't go, but I'm saying he's done a terrible job.
Regardless of the MLB Players Association saying that they'll show up, we'll see. I mean, it's for a lot of these players, I don't expect some players to show up. I don't. And I'm not talking about, like, what's his name, Trevor Ariza in the NBA. I'm not talking about him. Like, nobody's going to care that he doesn't show up for a team that is not going to make the playoffs anyway. But this is, one thing that's been said is it's going to be awkward, and it is going to be awkward for the players and the owners and everything moving forward until this is all said and done. Really, the big thing is getting through this year. 60 games, is the best team going to win in 60 games? No, it's not. Not according to baseball and the way it's played. Because if you go, they showed earlier, there'd be teams like the Rangers and stuff that would have made the playoffs last year. And they had a stat on ESPN showing after 60 games last year, what would happen. And I understand it's a little bit different because teams are going to use their bullpens different. But here's the other thing is what happens. It all comes down to the NFL in college football and all these pessimists. What happens if a player tests positive? Then because they're going to keep 30 on the roster, and then they're going to knock it down as a little bit as they go along. So what do you do? I mean, what happens when you have a couple of your bullpen guys get the coronavirus, which it's going to be inevitable. Some of these guys are going to get it. It's going to happen. It's life. They're out and about, whatever. Even if they protect themselves somehow, some way with traveling and whatever, they're going to get it. So I don't know. To me, like, yay, they're going to play, but what is this going to look like? I mean, this is not – if they would have come to an agreement before, like a couple months ago or a month ago or whatever, and be like, okay, yeah, we'll meet you in the middle, I feel better. Now I'm kind of like – not that they're being forced to play, but it's like, look, shut up, owners. We're not – just tell us where. Let's just get this thing out of the way and move on. We don't
know. And honestly, like you said, to your point, Washington last year, through the first 60 games, was sitting at 25-35. They were 10 games below 500. They weren't even remember Bryce Harper and Philly, they were dominating. They were like 40 and I think they were sitting at like 38 through their first 60 games. I think it was like 37-23 or something. They were dominating. But then things change. Pitchers get back. These Luis Severinos of the world and that are out for Tommy John, they're going to have to be rushed back. It's not going to be good for a lot of reasons, but from a watching the game standpoint, which we all talk this other stuff, the games themselves are going to be really intriguing because every single game means whether or not if you lose. We go home tonight, we're watching a game to start the kick off the season. You watch 2 series, that's 20% of the season. 2 series are 20%. So you're sitting there going, whew, every game. When you're getting blown out, you better come back. You're rooting them on, like with that Tao in the last year when they hit the home runs late for the Nationals, or they came back to beat the Brewers off Josh Hader. Those kind of moments are going to be huge. And it's almost going to be like playoff baseball all the time. So from our standpoint, watching the games, grabbing a beer, it's going to be great. All this other stuff, terrible. But
the big story in all this is that Mookie Betts will only play 60 games with the Dodgers.
I forgot I already lost.
He's going to play 60 games, and then he's going to move on to another team. Tom
Brady's still a Patriot, and Mookie Betts is still a Red Sox. I'm going back in time. We're coming back for more. Sports Drive. Just salty now.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
policy from State Farm gets you collision coverage. And this radio ad from State Farm gets you coverage of this beloved 90s hit.
I hit a car. I hit a car. I hit a car. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. My agent's gonna help me.
For more coverage, visit statefarm.com.
Jackson Pace Pharmacy has exciting news for ED patients. Viagra 100 milligram generic is finally here. Get it today. 30 tablets for $80, less than $3 a pill. You heard right. Viagra 100 milligram generic is less than $3 a tablet. A prescription from your doctor is required, so stop by Jackson Pace Pharmacy and cash in on the savings today. 2256 West 9 Mile Road in Pensacola.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee is not okay. But now, you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. We're talking about less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying. It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one. You can try a full 30-day bottle of P3 Advanced, free. Just cover shipping and handling, and a free bottle will be conveniently shipped to your door. No strings attached and no commitments to buy. Call 1-800-491-4613. Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no strings attached free bottle, you must call now. Call 1-800-491-4613. Agents are standing by to take your call for this unprecedented free offer. Call 1-800-491-4613. 1-800-491-4613.
It's time for some straight talk. Even though most live sports are on hold now, big wireless companies haven't stopped playing games. They're always trying to lock you into overpriced contracts. With Straight Talk Wireless, there are no contracts. It runs on America's best network, same as the big carriers, but you save up to 50%. $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. You might miss sports, but don't play games, you'll lose. Straight Talk Wireless. No contracts, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
The latest sports news is at ESPNpensacola.com and on Facebook at ESPN Pensacola. Plus, watch Chad Brillante, Coach K, and Sports Call live on our exclusive YouTube channel, ESPN Pensacola 1330. From quarterbacking the Pensacola High Tigers to being head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K Stevenson knows the game, and he brings his expertise to talk football with Coach K. Weekday afternoons from noon to 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Let's go to our phone lines, 850-623-1330. Caller, who's this?
Hi, how you doing? This is Leonard Hannah from Milton, Florida.
Hey, Leonard, how's it going?
Hey, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I got a match coming up with Island Fight 63, July 25th in Pensacola, Florida. I was wanting to come on in and have a chat with y'all. So.
Yeah, well, Leonard, absolutely. The Island Fight's coming up here is going to be awesome, and we still got your gloves up here at the top right here in studio. So we're excited, and anytime the fights are getting going, we'd love to come in and promote it to a point. Right now, currently, we have to have 2 people inside. We still got some rules and policies inside our studio, so we got to work with that. But something like this, anytime you got a fight or anything like that, just go ahead and call in or let us know, and we'll go ahead and promote it. Yeah, we'd love to.
Okay. Is it possible I can come out tomorrow or Thursday?
Well, you can call in tomorrow or Thursday onto the show.
We could probably get him in because it'd be where you just I'll step out while he comes in here.
Okay. Well, we'll try to get that. Whatever we can do, we'll try to get that in. Yeah.
Okay. Do you still have my cell phone?
Yeah, but we are live too, Leonard, on the show right now. over
How
the air.
y'all doing? How y'all doing?
I want to make that sure. Before
out.
this, I want to make that clear. Yeah, we're up here live right now on the on TV and radio, so I want to make that clear for everybody. Honestly, let's see. We've got your Leonard. It saves in there, and we'll go ahead and we got the number saved, and we'll go ahead and promote it. Okay, buddy? I remember. I remember
Okay.
Leonard. I remember when we met that night at the 850 out there. So yeah. We're going to go ahead and, like I said, we got your number saved, and I'll go ahead and reach out to you to try to get that thing promoted.
Okay, to all my fans, man, out there, and everybody that represent ESPN and Barger, man, it's your boy Big Money Leonard coming to Pensacola, Florida, July 25th, Island Fight 63. Y'all make sure y'all pull up. I'm going to support Milton fans, Pensacola fans, the whole 850. I'm representing you.
That's awesome, man. And we're looking forward to it. Leonard, we'll talk to you here soon. We got to go to the top of the hour break, but everybody heard that across there, and we're looking forward to the fight coming up, buddy.
All right, y'all have a good evening.
All right, you too. Leonard giving us a call right there. And look, Island Fights, we always say we're here for promoting everything going on locally. And I remember Leonard, he came in studio right here, his gloves up in the corner right there. We got to go to a break. We're coming back for more. It's the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Coming up on the Sports Drive, we'll get to more on the situation right now with the FBI investigation in NASCAR. We'll talk Major League Baseball, saying we're ready to throw on the gloves coming up on July 1st. We'll see if everybody is. And then some of the other stories like Novak that I'd rather not talk about.
Has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl. Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. Both been beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 for Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
Some give it to, some give it to, some give it to our girls. 5 million and 40 naughty shorty. Baby girl, all my girls, all my girls. Shonda Paul say, well, on the way the time cold, I wanna be keeping you warm. I got the right temperature for shelter you from the storm. Hold on, girl, I got the right tactics to turn you on. And girl, I wanna be the papa, you can be the mom.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99 1 FM. Is playing this music coming back. Sean Paul is coming back. There we go. Nothing like kicking off the show. Little Sean Paul. Joining us now is Cam Walker, who joins us each and every week to talk a little sports here and some of the big stories happening. Cam, it's good to catch up.
I know. I'm glad to be back.
Absolutely. Well, there's a lot in the news. Nothing from a sports standpoint that we really want to dive into from the X's and O's of the game. But what we've been seeing right now, the Bubba Wallace story has obviously been one that's been huge. And I talked about it the day before. I've been around Talladega. I've been inside that. If you've been inside a stadium or you've been somewhere where you know things, you probably have a little more inside information on things. I've been down to the garages at Talladega a few times, and when I read the story, it was a little bit iffy, especially knowing that Bubba Wallace being the only driver, that the situation where they probably have a little more tightened security on it for something like this to pop up. And even the story itself was Bubba didn't see it. One of his crew chiefs saw it and then reported it to him. Now, frankly, between friends, if you have a friend that's, that it's going to hurt their feelings if you did that, it'd be like running down the road to go hey, come on, let's go, come here. Be like, what's wrong, man? I know we're pulling away from the pool party, but I want you to see this. Mm-hmm. Well, why'd you show me that? That's terrible. My family doesn't want to see this. So it didn't all add up, but also at the same time, to me, one of the big things is what actions will cause the reaction that you'll see going forward. Mm-hmm. And what we saw after George Floyd was not the right reaction. There was a lot of the right reaction. Mm-hmm. The peaceful protests. What we saw was awesome. And then you had people blocking the bridge, and a dog died, and some other things, and that was not the right reaction. Nobody can say, in the honor of George Floyd, I blocked a bunch of people that lost their jobs on this day or couldn't make it. I couldn't take Granny to the hospital. I couldn't get my dog died after 14 years because of this. That's the correlation between that is nonsense. The difference is there are certain ways you can go about things. And what happened afterwards was a united stand between drivers. From what I saw, and it could be different video. Richard Petty, the king of NASCAR, coming out there and shaking hands. You saw such a good feeling that you sat back and went, you know what, there might be a future. There might be some hope for NASCAR, a sport that has never been unified on this. And I'm not going to say it's going to unify everybody today. There's a lot of ticked off people that feel like their culture and other things have been completely threatened from what we heard, that they feel like anybody with the Confederate flag now is labeled one of those people that was going to put a noose in his garage, and that's not the case. But what we saw, the reactions that were caused, was that people got together and it unified the drivers. Talladega didn't burn down. We raced the next day. And for that, I'm happy. I'm happy to see that no matter what, in a matter of weeks, the way things have gone about have changed. Maybe they haven't. But from using one platform to another, from burning down targets and throwing things through a glass window to steal a bunch of Vizio flat screen TVs, which has nothing to do with the murder, compared to what we saw this week at Talladega, shows that there could be some positive signs. Mm-hmm. It's a horrible way to go about it, but at least it shows that there could be some positive signs. So for that alone, because that's going to affect my life, your life, more than everything else we're talking about.
Right.
I hope that we saw something change.
No, yeah, I think the output was great. I mean, NASCAR did it perfectly. The way they came together and marched with Bubba, it was awesome. And they showed some first-time NASCAR fans there. It was a group of people from Atlanta, and it was just showing that the diversity is growing in the sport. And with the headline of the news, I mean, I'll put myself in this category. It was just a startling reaction. And with everything going on, I feel like sometimes that things getting worse in society and what people are going to be doing may not be such of a shock. But I think people just jump to conclusion, don't really think about, hey, did this really happen? Something that I questioned was, how come they didn't notice it the whole time if it was used to pull down the garage? How come they didn't notice it, and was there ever a picture taken of it? I don't know, some things that...
It was okay to question. Yeah. But you also got to be careful because, something I said about 30 minutes ago on the show was, I don't want people to call in, and we've had callers here for 10 years, and I don't need the people that I know are good callers that are calling in to say, I'm about to say this, but I hope it doesn't hurt people's feelings. Say it.
Yeah.
Because most people don't wake up and just say things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most people, they feel today more than ever, anything they say is going to be something that is going to put in jeopardy of what they're talking to. And sometimes, you know, my heart, good people's heart, and I have a platform for it, but I've said 100 times where, you know, the only day that I've had in about probably 4 or 5 months during all this, having a job that's essential without sports, every single day I get people like, how do you even do this job? There's nothing to talk about. I'm getting sick of it. And even when baseball's coming back, we're going to probably have more people protesting and arguing. I would love to be able to sit here and get to talk about the games tonight. I'm not going to talk about what's going on right now with what happened in La Liga. For a couple people out there, they would love to know that a team like Parma beat Genoa or something like that, but not the masses. The difference is we're always honest and truthful with the right intention. Now, doesn't mean everybody has to agree with us. But when people have to everything they say gets put into a bubble to reference what's going on, then it's tough. You can't ever feel like you can say anything. Richard Pryor, Chris Rock, George Carlin. George Carlin would be canceled after like the first thing out of his mouth today. George Carlin, for people out there listening over the age of 40, is one of the best comedians ever. But now today, he would be probably thrown off a stage for making a joke. That's the world we live in today. And people are ready to attack anything. JP, my co-host here, nicest guy ever, and a guy that we never argue. I know his intent. He's the nicest guy in the world. He's on a list of like 3 people where he can babysit Leighton with our family because I know him and Autumn are awesome people and they'll be good. No matter what it is, though, people need to understand, though, that, you know, I joked at the beginning of the show and he said, you know, these people that are talking about this, and I stopped. I go, whoa.
Right, yeah.
And he's 29 years old, and he said these people. So I said, okay, I'm going to put a headline in the paper tomorrow. Some 20-year-old some 20-year-old punk thinks that these people aren't getting justified. You just read that? People be like, get him. He's terrible, man. Who does he think he is? And he meant nothing at all. He was saying what we always say. Well, this group of people, this. But you can take whatever you want and you can quote it and make it sound horrible today.
Yeah.
Teddy Roosevelt was the guy. He might be the best president ever. Somebody's going to take that and be like, isn't that the statue we're trying to tear down? He's awful. Why you say Teddy's good, man? Teddy was the guy that everybody wanted to be as a kid. You know, to raise your family, a strong man that fought for rights and changed the way America is today in so many different ways. He fought corruption in the NYPD. I know enough about history to know that I would defend somebody like him. But they want his statue torn down. They tore down Ulysses S. Grant's statue. He's part of the Union that fought to take away and really helped win the war for what it is today. And he's on, some people say, man, isn't that the guy in the 50?
Yeah,
that's the guy in the 50 crazy. Right there. Making it rain with grants. You're living a good life. But that's, Cam, that's the kind of stuff is people don't even know what they're doing and they think, and they're ruining it for the people that truly are trying to do the right thing.
I would like to know the ratings for Talladega this year because I'm sure they were more than...
Well, because of the rain, it got postponed onto a Monday.
Yes.
And I even saw stories that the race was postponed because of what happened to Bubba. And you had 4 or 5 outlets saying that, and that was completely false.
Yeah.
It was raining. They actually postponed it during the next Monday as well.
Yeah. I just know some of my friends and I, we've never watched a NASCAR race.
No.
But we did this time.
Because it's also on.
Yeah.
And that's why Major League Baseball's restart plan wasn't restart. They both came to a complete, disagreement.
Arguing.
And they end up,
time.
it was one of those kind of that show, it was on ABC or whatever, where they were living, but they were both divorced, but they were living together with kids, and they're like, guess we got to figure this out, and they're bringing people home, you know what I'm talking about? But everybody, that didn't mean they won. It didn't mean like it was a true romantic. Right. This wasn't a Nicholas Sparks book. Yeah. It was something where they end up just saying, I guess we got to deal with this. That's what baseball's doing right now. They're just saying, well, I guess we got to figure this out. They never came to a conclusion, so the owner decided to make that case. And for Major League Baseball right now, they didn't win that. But over the last couple months, they could have done so much more, and it's sad. What do you see? Do you see Major League Baseball losing fans because of this?
Honestly, no, because I think
it's fair, yeah.
I feel that the MLB fans have been so strong and dedicated this whole time. I think they're excited almost. I would say the majority. I don't think they'll lose fans.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think they're ready to watch some more baseball.
I think it's fair in a couple reasons because we're also at this point we say that, but heck, we were staying up till 2 a.m. to watch Korean baseball because we want something. Like when live sports come back, people want to watch right now.
Anything.
And there's not a perfect answer to it, but you know what we're seeing right now in college football is something that more than ever. There's something we can take from the Bubba Wallace story that we haven't been able to talk in sports, but actions always speak louder than words. And I'm not talking the actions of what happened. I'm talking the actions of two things. The way it was handled afterwards, I thought was appropriate and saw that maybe there's hope for a little bit of change. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm already looking at Facebook posts and people are posting pictures of the Confederate flag again and being like, this moron, it was all a lie. That's not the path we need to take on this.
No.
We need to take,
Moving
you know
forward.
what? Richard Petty went out there and shook the hand. Whether it was based on whatever, it showed that he was willing to say, you know what, stop this. Because in his heart, he was doing that. You know who hasn't spoke? Jerry Jones. And I think people are like, why is Jerry Jones not speaking? He's one of the faces of football. I say, well, the reason Jerry Jones isn't speaking is because he has nothing good to say right now that you want to hear. He's not going to go like, I'm going to be so excited when everybody takes a knee next year on my football field. He's going to say no. Remember, he said, if you take a knee on my field, you're not on my team. So people need to understand, if you don't have anything that people want to hear right now, then I believe you need to be quiet.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Think about this. Colin Kaepernick, regardless of what anybody feels, and just stop paying attention to media headlines right now. I'll say that 1,000 times, and we work in the media. But listen, have a brain. Start to believe that why has nobody right now currently during a time where there would be a big story, your team would look like applauding and a hero where Brett Favre, I don't agree with what he said. That's a horrible way to put it when he said he compared it to Pat Tillman. One guy's a guy that lost his life in war and one guy took a knee. That's different. And it doesn't have no black, white does not matter. Most people are saying, come on, man, like let's not compare that. But what I will say though is, you would think, wouldn't you? Anybody out there listening right now, you're a smart person, Cam. We've talked. I know that I don't have to look up your GPA. You can talk to somebody for a few minutes and say that person gets it. But, Cam, wouldn't you say right now that whatever team came out and said, you know what, we're going to sign Colin Kaepernick to a deal to get ready for training camp, would be looked at right now currently in our model and our system as like, all right, look at that.
For sure.
So why hasn't anybody pulled the trigger?
A good question.
It's because the actions of these owners that come out and say, we are all for unity, we're for peace, we're for this, they're lying to you. They want to sound that way, but they're not willing to do that. Because I'm willing, as a broadcaster in my job that used to be about talking sports, I'm willing to say, I don't care how long he sat out, this guy went to a Super Bowl. Colin Kaepernick, just from a sports standpoint, is by far one of the top 64 quarterbacks in the game, and more than likely, for sure, one of the first 96 quarterbacks in the game that deserves a spot on a roster, even if he's holding a clipboard. And not too many people would argue that. Guy went to a Super Bowl. Ryan Finley physically can't go to a Super Bowl as the backup for the Cincinnati Bengals. He played at NC State. You saw him maybe throw a couple picks against you guys. He cannot physically go to a Super Bowl. But the reason why is because people want to hear the headlines, but they don't want to read everything. And what the owners are saying by their actions right now are, we're not giving him a shot. I don't want to mess it up with our locker room. I'm not taking on that baggage. I don't want to be looked at when I go to my country club for people to say, you signed Colin Kaepernick? Yeah, like people are different than what they're saying. And that's why right now we need to understand that what you're reading is not what everybody believes. And most smart people can see that and go, that's the truth of what we're seeing.
Do you think more people would criticize the owner for signing Kaepernick or applaud?
I think the media and the way in the platform, it would completely right now be applauded. But I think for a guy who is a 70-year-old white man owner, which is the majority of owners in the NFL, he would go to his country club or he would go to his group of guys and they would say, I thought more of you. And that doesn't make it right. But I've seen it. I've been there. I mean, I've been around the game of football long enough where there's a reason why people aren't saying that. And I would love it. I would embrace it right now. Sorry, you just got in the crosswinds of this emotional kind of. But I would love for somebody to call me right now 850-623-1330 and tell me why I'm wrong and tell me why one of those owners. No, you just don't get it. That's the best word. So you just don't get it. Okay, tell me why one of the owners hasn't signed him or at least invited him to camp. You just don't get it. Okay, tell me why one of the owners, because they keep saying that they're for it. Mm-hmm. And clearly he's one of the best. I've said from my standpoint, which I get paid for as a broadcaster, that he's one of the top players and should be on your roster. You tell me why you haven't signed him. Well, you just don't get it. See what I'm saying? You just don't get it.
Don't get it.
That's why people need to understand is actions. Stop paying attention to a guy coming out and saying, I'm all for this. You have the right to do that.
About it.
If you own a company and you said, I would love to hire these employees to work for me okay, then do it. Then hire them, because you actually just posted a thing online that there's openings for jobs. So why are you not hiring them when you said that? Oh, you just don't get it. That's exactly why people need to understand is stop paying attention to everything you're reading, because we just had the whole country in uproar for the Bubba Wallace story when it was based on a lie. However, what I see from it is what was the right reaction. Mm-hmm. And we, as a country, we passed that. The people that kept on fighting those stories, they probably should have laid low and at least knew in their heart, like I talked about yesterday off the air, saying, not 100%. And I have a quote. I mean, I have a text this morning that I will be willing to share with anybody that calls in to my friends at 7 o'clock in the morning. I was woken up at 7 o'clock. But I text everybody and said, look, let's be real. I've been around Talladega. There's a very good chance that this was not a hate crime, but the ropes that come down. Because I'd done my research and looked, and I'd been there. And I wrote that 7 hours before the FBI investigation came out. I didn't want to come on air and say it because of the way that the country reacts to things. I don't want to be a guy that's starting chaos instead of peace. Mm-hmm. So I chose personally not to say that. But from day one off the air, anybody that's around me knows that.
Well, it would have been nice for them to realize it was the rope to pull down the garage before jumping to...
But probably many of them did. Once again, we don't need to... Once again, I mean, what happened because of it?
Something good. Everybody came together.
Now, the person, what I want to know is the person that did it, did they want something good or they want something bad to happen?
Yeah.
People, the masses will create an opportunity for the next thing to be shown. We don't get to control that. Nobody in Seattle, when all this was happening, when the George Floyd situation was like, they're going to be some little, whatever that thing is, Chaz or whatever they call it right now, the communists out there, the ones, the group of people in Seattle that are forming their own thing on the streets.
Yeah.
This is out of Lord of the Flies. This is a joke. I will say it like that because, frankly, I saw an interview. The guy goes, well, we've put a protected barrier. We go ahead and we have a couple of people in our group that are walking around with guns, and we've got facilitators. So what they're saying is they built a wall, they've got cops, and that they own guns. Which I'm sitting there going, those are the three biggest things that everybody in that group that's wearing the beanie and running around is fighting over what's happening in our country, and they just did that in 30 seconds on air. And I'm sitting going, at this point, you guys, do you understand just because you call it something? If you call a building, oh, no, it's an establishment with windows. Still a building, and it's an office. You know, stop trying to call it something and think it's something different. But it's hilarious how people will try to fight for that. And, you know, with this case, I don't know if the person with that news situation was trying to create the right thing because...
Don't know their intentions.
Don't know their intentions. But what turned out to bring peace. We didn't know what was going to happen in Pensacola. Remember, in Pensacola, when people were down at the bridge, it became something where we just saw buildings burning down in Nashville. We saw buildings burning down all over the country, Targets getting destroyed, everything. We didn't know what was going to happen here. I drove by and talked to some of my 7 or 8 cop friends, some of the best people in the world, and I talked to them that day, and they were in that old Outback parking lot right there off of Chase Boulevard, and there was about 50 cop cars sitting there, and they had a decision to make. Just in case. Well, they didn't know what was going to happen. But Pensacola represented peace, unity, and a positive change that going forward could be something special. And some people blocked the bridge, and I said, didn't mind saying, it was an awful move to do. I thought it was hilarious. The guy was on the Prius driving. Now, he didn't get hurt, so I thought it was really funny. But overall, he was also wearing white socks with dress pants. You don't do that. But overall, you just need to know that most people will make those decisions. But what happened after NASCAR, I'm not going to regret, because if you're not wanting that, regardless of everything that happened before, then you're never going to prove anything on that.
Yeah.
And that's something. So you don't have to defend yourself if you thought it was horrible what you saw. I think it's okay too for the people that said this is for everybody on our page, and it's got some heated conversations. But for everybody that said this sounds like something that I've been around NASCAR, this doesn't sound like something that someone would do. This sounds like something that was perpetrated inside by somebody that he dealt with or somebody else. It was okay. And on our ESPN page, we usually go in and delete a lot of the ones that are just somebody wanting to curse for no reasons. We didn't. Allowed people to demonstrate. Because I saw that. I saw, hey, these people might have a choice. And guess what? They end up turning to be right, but I hope they don't use their platform today to be right, to reverse what we saw. That's important. It's not an easy way to handle this conversation.
No.
So I just want to say, though, that you can take some positives out of a negative. And that's what we saw today. So we'll go to a break. When we come back, I know you're like, wow, this is a lot to take in right here. I would love to just talk about the rosters of Clemson and Alabama. Let's say, when we come back, we'll get to more on what's going on right now around the world of sports, which is NASCAR event. How about Ryan Blaney? He's like, remember I won?
Yeah.
We'll come back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Florida. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Ever wonder how long it takes for litter to decompose? How about a paper towel or newspaper? 2 to 6 weeks. A cigarette butt? 1 to 5 years. That plastic bag? 10 to 20. A disposable diaper or plastic beverage bottle? A whopping 450 years. And for a glass bottle? 1,000,000 years. Let's stop litter madness. Join the team and let's drive it home. Keep our paradise litter-free.
Brought to you by Florida Department of Transportation and Keep Santa Rosa Beautiful.
I'm Troy Rafferty, and many of you know about my love for sports and my longtime support for our local high school athletes. One thing these fine young people have taught me over the years is this. Whether it's on the ball field, in the classroom, or in a court of law, always work your hardest and achieve the best results possible. And that is the commitment we make to our clients and our community.
Levin Papantonio in Pensacola since 1955.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes are non-transferable, non-redeemable for cash, or exchangeable for any other contest prize. Prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning and must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
Need a job? Then let's get back to work. Check out this listing.
Family Heating and Air has immediate openings for talented and motivated teammates. Great company with great benefits. Send your resume to opsmanager@familyheatingandac.com. If your business is hiring, then let us help you. We can tell thousands of potential candidates about your company and opportunity right now. Call us at 262-6000 to get started.
We're helping Pensacola get back to work.
In Pensacola, local and national sports live here. Catch the play-by-play of every game of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos and your national champion West Florida Argonauts football team. Your local high school football games during football season are here, along with the best local sports talk in the biz with Talk Football and the Sports Drive weekdays and Sports Call every Saturday. When it comes to sports radio, there's only one place, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I got rice cooking in the microwave. Got a 3-day beard I don't plan to shave. And it's a goofy thing, but I just gotta say, hey, I'm a-doing all right. Yeah, I think I'll make me some homemade soup. I'm feeling pretty good.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Chad Brillante, Cam Walker with us here, University of Clemson. And I know she's ready to get back into football season back here.
100%, my goodness. I'm so ready.
You know, don't have to read all the stories about Dabo or 23 players and all this other, like, you know, people need to, once again, read the entire story. Yeah. But, you know, in college, and look, I'm so glad we didn't have cell phones, but everything we need to understand is college kids are going to be college kids. We can dictate, and there's kids that have their, you know, blessed with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's sunshine. Remember the Titans right there. Guy's got it all together. Have you had class, by the way? Have you talked to him before?
No, I've never talked to him. Okay. With him, no.
We'll change that. I know a few people. I'll make some calls. Right? But he answers, who's this guy? I don't know. Sorry, Cam. You sound sweet. I don't know this guy. But, you know, when it comes down to it, people need to understand is kids in college, they're going to go out.
They're going to live.
They're going to live. Yeah. They're going to go to a party. There's no reports that Friday night in one of the dorm buildings that the lights are shut out and they're going to do some cabana party or some theme. Mm-hmm. But kids are going to party in college. So I know for a fact anybody is going to do that. Maybe I just lived that and someone's like, no, I didn't. Well, good for you, and you also missed out. But overall, these kids are going out. And the report with LSU, you had 30 kids.
30, yeah.
But all of them they found out was from going out around the Baton Rouge area. So people are like, uh-oh, they're getting out practicing and sweating. And no, they're going to different places where other people have it. And if you isolate, if they want to go down the path of, okay, we're going to have strict regulations once the season gets rolling or once we get them on campus, where we're going to keep them within the football season around here, they're just going to be regulated in a certain way, or we're going to allow people to play and, you know, handle it as it goes. If you pretty much put an ultimatum, if you're a guy that's a star player and they go out and they test positive, say the second you test positive, you're going on a 14-day ISO, which means that your isolation, I just like called it like a perimeter defense there in basketball, 14-day ISO. But overall, you're going to miss 2 games. You're a Heisman candidate like Justin Fields at Ohio State, and you tell them if you go out and party or we know right now you tested negative and you're within this group, but if you go out and you party, you have the right to do that. But if you do and you come back with a positive test, you're not playing. Now you put a big decision on them. And you can make it clear, too, to all those NFL scouts and other people, hey, we told them if they don't go out to these places and go out to all these parties and these things, that if they come back and they test positive, they're not going to play. Now a lot of NFL scouts and other people are looking at it, too, and going, well, they can't follow directions.
Right. So risk they have to take.
Exactly.
Or if they want.
And to me, that's a perfect prime example of how we can play a college football season. But at the same time, putting responsibility and accountability in these people's hands.
Yeah.
Which is what all of our parents and everybody tell us from day one when they send us off for the whole day in high school or college or to the beach or partying with their friends. Accountability. We don't all have to act like our parents didn't know that there was one Friday night in high school that we went to a party. They knew, but they were like, look, you're going out tonight. This conversation happened with me more than usual right there. But you know exactly what we have to talk about. Everything is about accountability of what you do.
Being responsible.
And I'm from Boston. I mean, every day on this show, based on my blood and my heritage, I should be getting an FCC warning for saying some kind of cuss word. But I hold it in, being from where I am.
You did very well holding it in.
So there's a lot of times where people just need to demonstrate what they're doing. And I think that we understand that. But let's get to some more fun, positive stuff and having what we're going on. When it comes down to, Patrick Mahomes, I know that he ended up getting ready as they get ready. He's having some fun out there in KC as well.
Yeah, well, Chad, let me ask you, what is your favorite cheeseburger joint?
My favorite cheeseburger
that
joint.
That may not be around the area.
Well, not around the area. I would say it's expensive, but my favorite cheeseburger joint would be would have to probably be. I like Five Guys. I do like Five Guys, and it's expensive. Like I said, I get my peanuts worth. Before I get there, I eat the peanuts and all. But I'd go Five Guys.
So if you tweeted, I just really want some Five Guys right now, do you think Five Guys would say, hey, let's open up a Five Guys for Chad?
No, they would not.
Well,
not at all.
Patrick has that power.
They've actually kicked me out a few times for loitering, I guess.
Well, they are bringing a Whataburger to outside of Kansas City because he loves Whataburger so much.
He loves ketchup, too.
Yes. That wasn't enough, though.
The spicy ketchup there is great.
They gave him the ketchup, but he said, I just want the store.
Really?
Yeah. So they proposed the building, and it's on its way, I believe.
Well, that's good, and that's good to know, too, because, Whataburger's one. He's from Texas, remember. Mm-hmm. We can all be honest with, once again, this is the Trust Tree, the Nest show. We can say, a guy like Mahomes can be like, he doesn't look like what he sounds like. Mm-hmm. There's some people that go up there and, you've got a bodybuilder. If you walked into, there was a guy in a bodybuilding competition, he walked up to you and he goes, hi, Cam. Hi. And you'd be like, I don't know what he's saying. Mm-hmm. But if he, hey, what's up, girl? You see this right here? Patrick looks more of the guy that would come up and be like, yeah, man, I'm a good player. I can throw the ball right. He gets up there and he's like, well, I like ketchup on this. My girlfriend over here, we go up there. I sound a little like Kermit the Frog, but, my team's really good. I got a lot of good players on there. He just sounds different than he looks. You agree that conversation. You agree with that. It's okay to be honest.
I won't disagree, yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
That's a great way to put it. When you're on with me, I won't disagree is a great way to put it because it's a safeguard. But I have to say, with Patrick Mahomes, he's the kind of guy that you look at and he's what a great person. Yeah. I think clearly right now he's the best player in the NFL. I'll stand for and say this to anybody right now. This is from a Brady, a little salty maybe, but best player in the NFL. But that's a cool story.
I know.
I didn't know about
that. I thought
so. Overall, with looking as well, players who have announced that they're not participating in Orlando. We know 22 teams are supposed to go, but we've had the story with Trevor Ariza that's come out that he's not going to play. First off, he probably should retire about 4 years ago. But overall, you got Dwight Howard has been in the news. What do you make of what we're seeing right now about the players and the decisions going forward with what's happening in Orlando, really?
Well, Dwight is one of the few that has been a really driving force in the discussion about going to Orlando, and he is still undecided. And I just don't know how it's going to look if he goes to Orlando with everything he has said about the riots, about the social injustice, and how it would be a distraction, and him going to play. So him and Avery Bradley and Justice Winslow are a few of the ones that have been really public figures speaking up in this topic. And, tomorrow's June 24th. I don't know. I don't know how it'll look.
See, I don't pay attention to the days or months anymore. I just pay attention. It's still 2020 right now. Until it's January 1st, 2021.
I can't wait till that day.
Just hoping. New Year's resolutions are going to change a lot. That was like, hey, I'm going to go to the gym. This year's resolutions are going to be like, I want to survive. I want to forget 2020. Yeah. Can we all?
I can't wait.
Yeah, they're actually going to own it right now. But overall, it's one where Dwight Howard is one of those kind of guys that, once again, your actions over time. I was one of my first jobs was to cover Dwight Howard. I had to stand up even with the spiky hair. I lie about my not lie about my height, but I can go 6'3" with the hair. I'm only 6 foot. But overall, when I was talking to Dwight Howard, he was a rookie on the Magic when he first came through Atlanta, came through the Christian college right there, and a guy that was somebody or high school. When he was drafted, he just nicest kind of guy in the world. Yeah. And he was on a good team, a team that pushed the Lakers to the NBA Finals with Kobe and almost won it. But Dwight Howard was Superman. Everybody loved him at that time. I remember interviewing him a couple times, and then the fame started to get to him. And people handle fame in all different ways, meaning that some people embrace it and they do well with it, and other people take the fame, Ryan Leaf, situations where they don't do well with it, and their careers take a wrong turn. Well, Howard did not embrace the fame, and he didn't do anything where he ended up in jail or anything like that. But there were some situations off the court where, his own personal decisions with had a baby with a girl that was saying, hey, I want to come with you, and he was saying no, and he dealt with a lot of stuff. And personally, I'm not going to get into anyone's personal life as long as the teams are saying you can still take the court and you haven't done anything unethical to the point to get you arrested or in that situation. I'm not going to judge all that. That's for every NBA player. Everybody has drama in their life. But what I will say is Dwight Howard made some poor decisions, and then it cost him his basketball playing. He wasn't as good. But right now, the Lakers would have to figure out a lot more if he's not going to play.
Oh, yeah. They don't have room for a non-active player. They'll have to get a replacement for him. I just really think his credibility will be questioned from now on if he does go to Orlando. But the Lakers will have to get a replacement, and so what's the future for Howard with a replacement for him not going to Orlando with the Lakers? I don't know.
Well, the good news is it's the 2020 version of Dwight compared to like the 2011 version of Dwight, so he's not going to mean as much. It's still going to come down to AD and LeBron James to me. Right. I mean, those are the stars. But it's a big part. I mean, because to me, we're moving 2,700 miles across country for two teams that are playing from the West Coast to win a championship in Orlando. Because I believe it's coming down to the Lakers and the Clippers. I mean, I've seen enough Kawhi Leonard using this time to get healthy. And I think when healthy right now, he's the best player overall in the NBA. I think Giannis has the most talent. But Giannis is still raw, and he hasn't proved it yet.
He's really young.
He's very young. But Kawhi proved it where he took over games against Joel Embiid. He took over games last year in the biggest moments with the Raptors against the team in Golden State that they weren't supposed to beat. Wherever he went, he decided that, he was able to win. And he's proven it on all facets, and I think he's going to be the guy that is going to be the one to beat with the Clippers. I think the Clippers are going to win it all, but the Lakers have that LeBron trying to leave his legacy, everything that's happened this year. So for that, I think Dwight Howard, he's going to play an important role. And to have every piece in a championship run is important.
So you do think he will be in attendance?
I think that LeBron is sort of a fatherly figure, even though he's younger, to all these people. And he'll walk in and he'll say it just like this. He'll say, hey, you know all you guys, Avery Bradley too. You're either with us or not.
Yeah.
We all feel, because what they're arguing about, a lot of them, is the same stuff a lot of the guys in that locker room feel. So what Dwight Howard's feeling might not be any different than the way that LeBron's feeling. But they're going to say, hey, you're either going to play with us, or next year, remember who really dictates who's coming back on this roster.
Yeah.
And LeBron James will say, if you want to come back and play another season with us next year, or you want to retire, that's up to you. You can make your early retirement right now and sign, but you're not coming back. If you leave us high and dry right now, you're not coming back next year. Trevor Ariza is not coming back at all. He's done. He's retiring. Carmelo Anthony, retiring. So those guys have a choice to make. And we know in any sport, the one sport that the star players still control, it's 100% the NBA. LeBron James will make those decisions. And so he has a choice to make because LeBron's made it clear he wants to come back and play. We'll see if Dwight does.
Actions versus words. What's that?
Once again, it's accountability people out there. But we will get into more conversation coming back on college football, the NFL. Cam Walker joining us here, doing a great job as always. University of Clemson, and a true pro in the business. We're looking forward to talking to her when we come back with some of our big stories from the day right here. It's the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
Are you looking to hire someone with proven world-class job skills? Well, there are some very qualified candidates out there, America's wounded warriors. These men and women are eager to get back to life at home and a good job, which is why Wounded Warrior Project developed the Warriors to Work program. It helps wounded warriors translate their military job experience to the civilian workplace. To hire a proven professional, contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
Welcome to Bold! Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. Snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New England. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
JP here. Everyone here at ESPN Pensacola wants to send a shout out to our first responders and healthcare workers at this time. We know it's tough, but we appreciate the work you put day in and day out. We also want to thank our essential workers out there for helping all of us continue to live our lives as normal as possible in this time. For our community, keep rocking it. We are going to get through this. Remember, we were named the #1 strong town in America. That wasn't by accident. We have seen so many people step up and do their part, and we thank all those people for their efforts. We will be stronger for this, and together, we will beat COVID-19. JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. Like the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
Three-time light heavyweight world champion and former heavyweight champion of the world, future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones Jr.
What up? It's your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin. You're listening to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You know what it is? I love it. Yeah. I love it. Let's talk about it. Your boy's been a Christian quite a few years. Victory in faith, but I failed in my fears. I heard a lot of words that have tickled many ears. That's why I praise God for the word that we adhere. The word became flesh, lived for 30 years.
And welcome back, Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. This is, I think we're good. I think we're in the clear with that song. I wasn't sure right there. It's some of the comeback, some of these comebacks coming back here. You know, there's a list that is specifically made for the Sports Drive.
Oh,
JP's more the music. He DJs over here. I am like the DJ Kitty guy that just puts his hands in the air. You know, the guy's like, is that guy even working? You know, one of those that goes to the halftime show and you can clearly see, you know, the not the Jessica. So what was Jessica Simpson? What's her sister's name? Ashley. The one that clearly, like, I'm the one that, you know, you're up there, people are waving, but clearly you're not sure what's coming out of the mouth of that person. You know, like, hey, this looks cool. There's a lot of fireworks going on here. Yeah, I think we got away with that song. Looking at the situation right now, a lot of the stories that we're reading over the next couple of weeks will be about the coronavirus testing. We saw Novak Djokovic, a huge name to and really if it was more of an American sport like it was back in the 80s with McEnroe, Connor, looking at guys like even Jim Courier or Michael Chang. I remember growing up, a lot of the big names, Andre Agassi, the commercials right there. Did you know that wasn't his real hair?
No.
It was fake
no
hair.
No idea.
See that? Look at that. You're learning something anybody. That's what, after everything today, I felt like I've gone down some like coming to Jesus moments with everything, and people are going to be like, yeah, I'll listen to 2 hours of that guy. Well, first off, I'm sorry, but he goes, yeah,
learn some stuff.
Andre Agassi that was his real hair. You're like, that's what they're going to take today from the show. But overall, Andre Agassi didn't have his own hair, but we liked tennis was different back in the 80s and 90s. Now, names like Djokovic, Federer, Nadal, some of the ladies might be like, I like Nadal, but you know what? It's not an American guy dominating the sport, so it doesn't have the same feel. That's why Serena Williams, Venus Williams, when they were dominating, it was we can get behind somebody because it was an American from the country right here that were dominating their sport. But what we're seeing with him and you know, with Nikola Jokic in basketball and all these guys is you're seeing reports of positive tests, but we're not 100% sure what to make it out because how is this going to affect the sport? We're not sure the next step that those individual sports are going to take based on that, how asymptomatic or what's happening with these stories. Because Novak didn't even know he had it, and now he's apologizing because he showed up and he felt bad because he's a good human being, and he was like, oh, crap, I didn't want somebody else down here that was 75 and being the person up in the chair that was going to get sick.
Right.
So what do you take from what we're seeing right now with these stories in the news?
Well, it is crazy. The majority of people don't know they have it. So what are they? I mean, I know they're getting tested with protocols and everything. It just really stinks for them because they're feeling good. They're feeling great to play. I mean, I hate it for them. So if they did play, I'm sure they would do great.
And I hate it right now for what's going on in sports because we don't know the exact answer. It is scaring. I mean, people in the business right now, people that I've worked with have posted things like, yeah, we're not going to have a college football season now because they're seeing that 30 tests at LSU or 23 at Clemson, which, frankly, there's a couple points to this. Out of the 30, how many players are sick at home or how many got sent home? Second part to that, have we looked at the background of how they got it, which at LSU, they were like, it was all at that Baton Rouge clubs and a couple of the places around there. Third part to this, I'm glad they're getting it around July. Because, I mean, I know we're in June, but closer to July than it happening around late August, early September.
Yeah. I will admit, I've been very hopeful with college football, and when I heard the numbers last week with
it scares you.
Clemson, LSU, it scared me for the season and the future of it because I've been like, everybody asking me, oh, what do you think? I'm like, there's no doubt it's going to happen. But now I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say I'm doubting it, but it's scary.
I hope that, once again, you're not doubting the way you're feeling about it. I hope that you're right now, what you're doubting, which I'm doubting. I'll say this collectively so we can sing Kumbaya on this together because I'm doubting because your team wins titles at Clemson, my team wins titles, yours just are real, and we get parades. But, overall, I hope people understand it's okay to doubt individuals that make the choices.
Right.
Meaning that we get to, it's very okay to doubt the whole time if Major League Baseball should play, but most of us had come to the conclusion after watching baseball at Little League practices, all these people's tweets and everything going on right now that, yeah, we can play baseball. KBO's doing it right now. Teams are doing it. The difference is we didn't know the people in charge if they could handle the business of getting it to happen, and they failed. Now, we hope that we're going to report July 1st, but they failed to make the decision over about 15 meetings with the MLBPA and the owners. They proved that we had a reason to doubt them. What's happening in college football, the NCAA has made some poor decisions. Autonomy is going to be horrific. It's going to be, I have a hard time even trying to figure out today when you talk about the South Dakota Jackrabbits out there. Got I have a friend that went there. But South Dakota never shut down ever. They had 7 or 8 COVID cases. Everybody's social distance anyway out in the farms and does things.
7 or 8?
7, 8 cases during the whole time, not even deaths. Nothing going on. Now, I don't know if the numbers have changed. I don't know all that. But what I do know is that during the whole time, we didn't know the exact answer. But now, things have changed a little. There is there was a call coming in, but let me see if this is the. Let's try to get a call in. 850-623-1330. Caller, who's this? Hello.
Did someone call this number?
No, we did not. But that did not sound right there. I don't know. That did not sound like it was going down.
She had a question
I don't
for
think
us.
I did. If I did, now I'm quitting this job because I got magical powers because I haven't touched that phone line right now. But lady did not seem happy right there. She was not right there. She kindly said that. It could have led down a dark path right there. I hope we realize that the people that are making the decisions for college football, what I mean is what's happening in South Carolina and a school like Fordham up in New York, Syracuse, there's zero chance that what happened there and what happened in South Dakota should be looked at equally of getting the kids back on the football field.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard to judge what's happening in California or what's happening in Florida right now where the numbers are going up. And even though we can agree with what we want, it's what's happening in Miami is not going to be the same of what's happening in somewhere like Idaho.
Do you think this season will be interrupted with peaking COVID cases?
I don't know. I usually can answer. That's what I answer everything. The world has me stumped right now because if I could tell you, my answer is yes. 100% yes. Can we play a college football season? Yes. And I've got a whole entire regimen of how. I mean, I can tell you right now that if you're over the age of 75 or 80, you either, if you're an AD or you're a coach, you probably should lay low and stay away from practice. You should wear a mask anywhere you go around there. And if you don't feel comfortable, you should coach from individual press boxes or set up. We have $1 billion in organizations. They should set up a TV from home. We can do it with Zoom and all this others where they can be able to be there. Heck, we wheeled Hugh Freeze in on a bed through a wall at Liberty to get him in to coach a team. You can get somebody that can coach from home watching it and saying, yep, let's run a 2-3 slant over the middle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we've definitely learned how to be successfully virtual.
Yes.
So that could happen.
So, Cam, if you were a Joe Paterno type guy at the time when he was coaching at the end, someone like that should be coaching from home throughout the box. And if he wants to go to campus, then he's doing that on his own right.
Yeah. I'm with you.
So I have the answers. So the people there in their 20s or 30s should be able to go out there and play football. And if someone's like, you don't get it, people still can get sick. Well, guess what? Over the last week and a half, players have reported back to campus. And we've seen thousands across the board, I add up the number, of coronavirus cases testing positive. How many players have got sick or died by showing back up that are in their 20s and 30s? Zero. Zero. If we took every nursing home, and this is not supposed to be funny here, people, even though we like to laugh at the show. If we took every nursing home and sent them out on a football field right now, and had them just hang out and throw the football and do that. And thousands of people reported. Sadly, we would have hundreds and hundreds of deaths. Because I hope people understand what it is right now. And people fighting against that are trying to push their own agenda. Not to say somebody can't die. But people need to understand that kids in their 20s and 30s are not passing away from this. It is something that they need to be respectful enough where if they're out in public, they need to protect the other people and the people around them. And we'll talk more on this. We got to go to a break, and hopefully that lady doesn't call back. We're coming back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
Are you looking to hire someone with proven world-class job skills? Well, there are some very qualified candidates out there, America's wounded warriors. These men and women are eager to get back to life at home and a good job, which is why Wounded Warrior Project developed the Warriors to Work program. It helps wounded warriors translate their military job experience to the civilian workplace. To hire a proven professional, contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Coming up on Sports Call this Saturday, golf's favorite caddy and sports analyst Michael Collins will be joining us. Also, Jason Fitz at 12:30. That's this Saturday from 11 to 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome back. Sports Drive, final segment goes now. We appreciate you joining us here on Blab TV, ESPN Pensacola. Cam Walker joining us. JP, going to be back out here. But for the people that are wondering, well, it's real simple. Right now we have policy. You can only have 2 people per room. So JP's been kind enough to take a break. And I get to hang out with somebody cooler than me. That's cool. JP, next time maybe you'll win. We'll flip for it.
I know.
To get to hang out. Okay. But Cam, how's everything going, by the way? Has everything been good? I know a little bit of change when you come down from University of Clemson down here, but you grew up around this area and you know it. But how has it been adjusting to a new area that it is different what's happening here towards a college campus?
Yeah, so I usually come down every holiday and probably every summer at least. And so I know the area pretty well. It was probably the second week that I was driving around going to work and everything, and I was like, I don't have to use my GPS anymore. I'm so proud of myself.
That's a good moment right there.
Yeah, so it's been really good. I feel like it's a second home already with family here and a lot of people I know in the area. But with you asked about how is it with going from Clemson to here. Well, Clemson's a lot smaller. This Pensacola is a lot similar to Spartanburg, where I'm actually from, the population size and city life. So it's a lot similar to my hometown, which is nice.
You know, to the comment about the NCAA, though, is I hope people, when they see, because I'm looking up here, every 2 seconds I'm seeing, 2 more players for Philadelphia test positive. People, don't be shocked that the 2 sports being pushed right now to come back are the ones in the news. Like, let's be real with what's going on. And I'm not saying that everything is pushed for an agenda. I think a lot of people that have been saying that were proven right in a lot of ways today with the Bubba Wallace situation, not being the target of a hate crime. Doesn't make anything good. But what we need to understand is there's a reason why I've looked up at that screen and not one player, shockingly, in the NFL has tested positive. You know what's shocking is not one person in the whole NFL has gone out or done anything besides being quarantined in a bubble. Shocking. Wow. Amazing, people. Amazing. I'm shocked today. Cam, I appreciate it.
Thank you, as always.
Thanks for putting up with me. We'll do it again coming up this week. Cam Walker, I'm Chad Brillante for JP. Have a great rest of your night. And as always, God bless. Be safe, people.
99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, Sports Call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Company on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.